Christmas Eve, birthdays, Mother's Day, and they're going to think about their loved ones that they have lost.
Tonight, a closer look into the victim impact statements that will be read at the Skibitsky sentencing hearing.
I knew nothing about the system. I didn't know that I could actually speak up for myself.
Several women at the Pine Grove Correctional Center in Saskatchewan are protesting with a hunger strike.
We traveled to Lloydminster to go because we have family there.
And hard work and dedication. How one young goalie is chasing his dreams despite life's challenges. Tansei, good evening. I'm Krisan Ajkate. Welcome to APTN National News. An advocate group in Manitoba is helping families, supporters, and the Indigenous community with impact statements for an upcoming sentencing date of a serial killer who killed 4 Indigenous women. The statements are to help Chief Justice Glenn Joyal make his decision in 2 weeks for the sentencing of Jeremy Skibitsky, who was found guilty of 4 first-degree murders last month. With more, here's T.R. Wheatley, and a warning, this story may be distressing to some.
I did go to ceremony and I prayed.
Roxanne Green is helping this group of support workers turn their words into impactful illustrations.
Complete a community impact statement.
These community members have supported the families of Rebecca Contois, Morgan Harris, and Mercedes Myron through the trial of serial killer Jeremy Skibitsky.
And how they were impacted by the whole case. And so I'm putting them into visuals in the best way that I can that shows the many emotions and feelings that I'm hearing.
Skibitsky was found guilty last month of first-degree murder times 4 for Contois, Harris, Myron, and the yet-to-be-identified person given the name Buffalo Woman.
The Harris.
Green was hired by Giganaway-Namig, or We Take Care of Them All, a committee holding government to task for implementation of the 231 calls to justice from the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls. Sandra Delaron leads the committee. She's traveling the province holding circles like these.
And talk about their lack of security in real terms, as well as, their felt experience of safety. How has that changed as a result of the Skibitsky trial? Shivers they get when they walk by a BFI bin.
During the trial, it was revealed that Skibitsky preyed on vulnerable Indigenous women and that all 4 women were strangled, drowned, and later dumped in garbage bins. Delaron plans to have the drawings shown in court, along with an impact statement report to help Chief Justice Glenn Joyal when he sentences Skibitsky on August 28th.
To be entered into the record that it isn't just, when we have a loss, it isn't just one person or one family that's injured, it's the whole community that experiences the injury.
Stanley Lapierre has been supporting the family since May 2022, when news broke about this case.
For the families, it's not ever going to be over. They're going to go to bed at Christmas Eve, birthdays, Mother's Day, and they're going to think about their loved ones that they have lost.
Lapierre was also there when the family started the politically charged Search the Landfill campaign in 2023 after Winnipeg police and politicians said it was not feasible to search for the women's remains. And he was there for both the pre-trial and trial this past year.
It aged me because I had so many different emotions, and those emotions were scary emotions. I thought I had healed from those emotions years gone by, but it surfaced when that individual was walking in that courtroom each and every day.
Something that hasn't been lost on Green as she designs the graphic impact statements.
The first one was a very dark board. It has a lot of black in it, and the title is kind of just rings in your head when you read it. And the title of that one is called It's a Horror Story, but It's a True Story. And there's an eagle depicted in the picture.
Now the most recent drawing, Green says, it shows hope moving forward.
Especially in hearing about the news of the Saskatoon landfill search resulted in them finding of the young woman that was missing. gives the community here a sense of hope for these women.
And the grieving families who are also hoping for similar success with the landfill search that's expected to start in October. Tiara Wheatley, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
Inmates in Unit 4 at Pine Grove Correctional Centre in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan are on a hunger strike over poor conditions, including overcrowding, discrimination, and unsafe drinking water. The women inmates also say they want to be able to access their cultural ceremonies and practices. Our APTN video journalist Rachel May spoke to a former inmate who is calling for more to be done.
While I was incarcerated, when I first got in there, I knew nothing about the system. I didn't know that I could actually speak up for myself.
Faith Eagle, released earlier this year, knows firsthand the conditions inmates at Pine Grove face. Eagle has 4 loved ones in the correctional system, including her daughter at Unit 4 at Pine Grove. Eagle's daughter and a few others in Unit 4 went on a hunger strike on August 2nd to push for change, including better health care for sick inmates.
They're overlooked like big time, like, oh, you're faking it. Nobody's faking when they're sick. They just want to get help. They want to get the proper medical treatment.
Eagle alleges seeing women defecate in common areas, receive inadequate medical care, lack of cultural support such as access to an elder, and being provided unsafe drinking water.
And I noticed the water was disgusting. It tasted like sewer. It looked like there was oil, like, you know, when oil and water meet, you can see the residue on it.
Eagle hopes the hunger strike will result in guards receiving trauma-informed care training, as many women at Pine Grove are Indigenous.
They'll snub you off. They won't look at you. They won't communicate with you. And if you do try to communicate, you're charged.
Current inmates at Pine Grove say nothing has changed despite hunger strikes and complaints to staff. Those on hunger strike have no end date in mind. They just want to raise awareness and create change in correctional facilities. Rachel May, APTN National News, Saskatoon.
More is being discovered about the unprecedented 2023 wildfire season in the Northwest Territories. According to a recent study, significant amounts of arsenic were released into the air and water as a result of the wildfires near Yellowknife. Researchers are calling the findings surprising and concerning results that should be treated as a wake-up call. According to a study published in Environmental Research Letters, 4 fires near Yellowknife last year released between 69 and 183 tons of arsenic into the air and water. That's about half the arsenic wildfires around the world emit per year. Those fires were in old gold mining areas. Arsenic is a potent toxin associated with diabetes, cardiovascular disease, various cancers, and infant mortality. It can be transformed by wildfires released into the environment from the soils that hide it. The report was led by researchers at the universities of Waterloo and Nipissing. They say more research needs to be done.
We are aware as one of the limitations of the study is that we don't have the kind of broad expertise that's necessary to take this to the next stage, which is understanding the implications on human and environmental health. That would require a more diverse team of specialists, not just wildfire specialists, but also ecotoxicologists and biologists and geochemists.
Conserving land got a big boost last week. The federal government is investing $12.5 million in the Canadian Nature Fund and the Enhanced Nature Legacy, otherwise known as its Target 1 Challenge. Among the projects getting funding, Shawanaga Island is where Shawanaga First Nation is looking to establish an Indigenous protected and conserved area. Those behind the idea say it will help conserve important wildlife, protect food security, and foster a better understanding and respect for an Indigenous way of life in Ontario.
20% of the world's land is Indigenous land, and it holds 80% of the world's biodiversity. Throughout time, Indigenous-led conservation has far surpassed what Western science has done.
Andrew Byrne says that this is about blending Indigenous knowledge with Western science to further the conservation efforts. Wildfires across this country continue to burn this summer. We'll bring you an update on those impacted, plus how one woman in Vancouver is bringing more awareness to MMIWG. That story and more when we come back. Stay with us.
Yeah, I've been practicing all week. I've been okay, but as soon as I saw my butterflies and spirit on the ground, the emotions just got to me.
Welcome back. It was a rather unusual sight in one of Vancouver's most touristy areas last week.
Remember me, when the sun comes up in the morning sky, there I will be, there I will be.
Lorelei Williams, founder of Butterflies and Spirit, performed from the side of a building wearing a red dress and a red cape in front of dozens of surprised onlookers in busy Gastown, Vancouver. The impromptu performance was aimed at honoring the victims and raising awareness of the violence against Indigenous women and girls. The Vancouver-based dance troupe performed the stunt with the help of members of Ariosa Dance Society, who specialize in vertical dancing.
Floating through the air represents missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, their spirits going up. And the two up top are the ancestors accepting them. And I don't know if you noticed the cedar boughs, but that was me cleansing as well, cleansing the space. And yeah, I've been practicing all week. I've been okay, but as soon as I saw my butterflies and spirit on the ground, the emotions just got to me.
The Dakota Teepee First Nation in Manitoba is taking all levels of government to court, saying that the Forks in Winnipeg is unceded territory of their nation. They also allege that the defendants unjustifiably infringed on Dakota Teepee Nation rights to the land. The lawsuit was filed at Manitoba Court of King's Bench on Friday. It says the Dakota Teepee Nation is the direct descendants of Ochete-Sakowin Nation, who are the original habitants of the Forks land. The First Nation is seeking damages surrounding loss of harvesting and ceremonial sites, including traditional, cultural, and spiritual practices, economic growth, and enjoyment of the land. The lawsuit also lists the North Portage Development Corporation. On July 15th, Canada apologized to the Dakota and Lakota for historically labeling them as refugees and therefore excluded them from treaty agreements. The claims have yet to be proven in court. Federal ministers gave us an update today on the wildfire situation across the country. According to the Minister of Emergency Preparedness, Harjit Sajjan, there are currently 474 active fires burning across the country. 167 are out of control. The above-average wildfire season continues to affect mainly people in British Columbia, Alberta, and the Northwest Territories. Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Indigenous Services, Jenica Atwin, said First Nations are experiencing the frontline impacts of climate change, with 80% of their communities at risk. 74 First Nations across the country have been impacted this year. 7 communities are still evacuated, affecting about 9,000 people.
The situation was especially difficult in Little Red River Cree Nation, where all communities were evacuated. I know there are some members who had stayed behind with fire and water trucks ready to intervene if needed, and I want to thank them, Miigwech. To support their efforts, we sent $15 million in advance payments to their communities. We also provide funding through the Red Cross to support First Nations facing those wildfires. For example, Red Sucker Lake was able to buy generators. A wildfire was dangerously close to their community, and the generator prevented any major power outage.
The CBC paid out more than $18 million in bonuses this year, the same year in which they eliminated hundreds of jobs. Documents obtained through access to information laws show that CBC Radio Canada paid bonuses totaling $18.4 million to nearly 1,200 employees. More than $3.3 million of that went to 45 executives. The bonuses were approved in June, the same time the CBC announced it was laying off employees to help balance its budget. Coming up next, we'll tell you about an Indigenous bodybuilder from Ontario who is making a name for himself, plus a young athlete following his hockey dreams. We'll be back in less than 3 minutes. Stay with us.
Don't get discouraged or anything whenever I let a goal in. If I make a mistake, just wear it off.
Welcome back. Time now for our photo of the day. Longtime lawyer in Manitoba and former AFN regional chief Kenneth B. Young sent us this beautiful photo of the night sky, complete with the Big Dipper. Thank you, Ken, for that photo. I hope you and the family are doing good. To all of our viewers, send us your photos to share at aptn.ca for the chance to be our next photo of the day. It could be a photo of the powwow at the lake or maybe something cool in your backyard. Now let's take a look at tomorrow's weather forecast.
Over on the east, Charlottetown 24, Fredericton 28. Cartwright 15, Nujuak 19. Val-d'Or 29, Gasp 27. London 26, Sarnia 26 as well. Sioux Lookout 28, Sudbury 28. God's Lake 30, Churchill 31. Gimli 29, Dauphin 28. Regina 29, North Battleford 28 as well. Stony Rapids 31, Buffalo Narrows 27. Northern AB, Peace River 28, Fort Chipewyan 31. 29 in Lethbridge, 27 in Edmonton. Campbell River 22, Kamloops 30. 20 in Dease Lake, Smithers 24. Watson Lake 22, Old Crow 17. Yellowknife 20, Norman Wells 19. Colville Lake 17, Inuvik 18. Baker Lake 27, Cambridge Bay 12. And Iqaluit 13 and Igloolik 13 as well.
A 13-year-old goalie from the Opaskwayak Cree Nation in northern Manitoba is on an exciting journey. Kaysen Delaron hopes to represent his province at the 2025 National Aboriginal Hockey Championship. And though his community lacks a year-round ice rink, that doesn't stop him from chasing his dreams. Reporter Sierra Bettens caught up with Kaysen ahead of his tryouts for the championship.
My name's Kaysen Delaron. I'm 13 and I've been playing hockey for 2 years.
Can you tell us a bit about why you're in Winnipeg today?
I have a tryout for the National Aboriginal Hockey Championship, Team Manitoba.
It's a pivotal weekend for Kaysen Delaron, who comes from the Opaskwayak Cree Nation in northern Manitoba. The 13-year-old goalie is gearing up for 3 days of training and tryouts for the 2025 National Aboriginal Hockey Championships. It starts here at the Pan Am Boxing Gym in Winnipeg.
So Kaysen reached out. He's a hockey player, so he wanted to just do something off the ice, focusing mainly on conditioning. So boxing is a great sport for that, of course. Hockey is, of course, a very physically demanding sport. It's a contact sport. So boxing kind of has a really compatible relationship, I would say, with hockey.
Kaysen's home community lacks a year-round ice rink, but the young goalie, who plays for the Paw Huskies, doesn't let that stop him from chasing his dreams. Off the ice, he boxes and plays on Opaskwayak soccer team, keeping him in shape all year. In the summer, the Delarons visit family in Alberta, giving Kaysen valuable ice time.
It's tough, but we travel to Lloydminster and to go, because we have family there, so we usually stay at their house, and they have year-round ice, so whenever we go there, I usually go on the ice a lot.
In April, Kaysen participated in CCM's Rising Star Plus Hockey Development Program in Winnipeg. He offers a glimpse of what he's learned about being a goalie. What kind of training goes into, being a good goalie?
A ton of training, like agility, speed, tracking the puck, and way more.
How do you kind of keep that focus during a game?
Don't get discouraged or anything whenever I let a goal in. And then if I make a mistake, just wear it off.
If Kaysen aces the tryouts, he'll represent Team Manitoba at the 2025 National Aboriginal Hockey Championships in Kamloops, British Columbia. His parents hope his story encourages other young Indigenous athletes living in remote communities to believe in themselves and never give up. Sierra Bettens, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
We're wishing you all the best there, Kaysen. An Algonquin bodybuilder is on a natural high after a winning streak he experienced over the past 12 months. A year ago, we introduced you to Zach Liberty, a member of the Pikwanigan First Nation. Annette Francis caught up with him at the gym once again.
Zach Liberty has been on a winning streak this summer.
Right, so the first three here are what I won from the Ottawa competition in June. There are three separate divisions that I won first place in. At the end of that competition, what they do is they take the gold medalists and they put them against each other. So the top people in the men's physique category battle it out, and I was lucky enough to win that. So that's where the crown comes from. And then with that win, I qualified to compete on the national level.
He placed third in Toronto last weekend at Canada's national competition.
It had been, suggested to me in the past that I give it a try, and I was always kind of like, maybe, and then I decided to just do it. The reason I was kind of holding back all along is like these kind of competitions are very vain by nature. There's a lot of vanity involved, and I was almost a little bit embarrassed to go for it, right? Like, okay, because you're judged specifically on your physique and your body. But I kind of just decided, what the hell, screw what anyone else thinks and just go for it, you know what I mean? So
we first met Liberty over a year ago when he was training for a powerlifting competition. Since then, he decided to make the switch to bodybuilding before he turned 30.
The training regimen's about 5 days a week in weightlifting, but it also requires a lot of cardio. So that's about 5 sessions of Stairmaster and a couple runs a week on top of that. So my life will very much be the gym.
For now, he'll be taking a bit of a break from training, but that doesn't mean he'll be on the couch.
I do a lot of running as well, so I actually have a couple runs booked. So I'm going to be doing the Army Run in September here in Ottawa, and then I'm going to be doing the Toronto Waterfront Marathon in October. But then after that, I'm going to be gearing up to compete again. So next August 2025, I'm back at the national level trying to win that gold.
For anyone wanting a healthier lifestyle, Liberty suggests to start with daily movement.
And then once you find out what you're good at through that daily movement, would be it sports, running, whatever it is, capitalize on it, right? Capitalize on it, invest your time in what you're good at, and great things will come for you if you just stay doing it every day. Greatness is created by doing unextraordinary things for an extraordinary amount of time. So just keep at it and keep pushing.
To keep up with Liberty's journey, you can follow him on Instagram at liberty.fit. Annette Francis, APTN National News, Gatineau, Quebec.
Wise words there, Zach. Thank you. And that's your midday newscast for this Monday, August 12th. We'll be back again tomorrow for your midday and evening national newscast with more guests and stories from everyone at APTN National News. Miigwech, masicho, hi. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again.